Sup tubers, long time no see. I apologize for that. This surgery recovery thing kicked me in the ass. So, as promised, I am sharing my surgery experience with you guys. I didn't actually film much of it because it was very nerve-wracking. Very nerve-wracking. Anxiety is a bitch. But I promised I would share this with you guys. So, as you all know, back at the end of last year, it was decided between me and my orthopedic wrist surgeon, that I would have carpal tunnel release surgery. And it was scheduled for the 29th. I had to be there at 1 p.m. on the day of a very nice snowstorm. Really, it was quite wonderful. As if my anxiety wasn't bad enough. Pardon anything you hear in the background. Magnus is very hyper. So we get in there and it's all fine. I'm, obviously nervous. I was so ridiculously thirsty because I wasn't allowed to eat. Hunger got the better of me as the day went on, but thirsty was ridiculous. I wasn't allowed to eat from midnight on. And then I wasn't allowed to drink anything from 2 hours before I had to be there. I had to be there at 1, so I couldn't drink from 11 on. For some strange reason, I only thought to have a little bit to drink when I took my pills at 10:30. So I was ridiculously thirsty by the time we got there. And Mom and Tessa both had like water or tea or whatever. I can't even remember at this. Bless you. I can't even remember at this point what it was. But by the time the hospital is about 45 minutes away, so it wasn't too bad. But by the time we got there, I was ridiculously thirsty. But soon they got the IV in and they started giving me saline, which helped tremendously. About an hour after we got there, Tessa was like, "Do you mind if I crack open a bottle of water?" I'm like, I held up my IV. I'm like, "Kid, I'm good. I'm great." I was no longer thirsty. But there, 2 surgeries before mine, there was a complication and it was taking longer than my doctor anticipated. So I was supposed to be the last surgery of the day. I was anyway. But it wasn't supposed to be as late as it was. I actually didn't go in until about 5:45. So yeah, I was there from 1, and I hadn't eaten since midnight the night before. Or no, since 11 the night before. And I'm hypoglycemic, but I was in bed all day, so it literally did not bother me. But I was hungry, and every time someone came to ask me a question, the only thing coming out of my mouth was, "When can I eat?" They were always like, "Do you have any questions? When can I eat?" That's all I kept asking them. I had 2 IVs, and I had this was the one with my saline, and this one wasn't hooked up to anything at first because it's what they put the numbing solution in to numb my arm from about here down for when they did the surgery. They had a tourniquet wrapped up here really tightly. I was bruised afterwards, to keep all the numbing solution down here in my forearm and hand. And that one actually caused me a lot of problems because I kept forgetting it was there in a dominant hand, so I could go to use it and it was bleeding a little bit, but I was fine after a fashion. So it was like 5:45. I finally got wheeled in there. They put the mask over my face with a little tube that I assumed was the gas that made me not give a crap. And it actually took them 3 different times to start the surgery because I could still feel what they were trying to do. I felt it each time they cut into my hand. And that was very disconcerting. The first couple of times I verbally told them I could still feel what they were doing. The 3rd time I just kind of flailed my feet. I was like, "Look, I can still feel what you're trying to do." But finally they got it numb enough. At one point my doctor was actually like, "Can we continue?" And they're like, "Yeah." The anesthesiologist who was standing over here was like, "Yeah, we can continue." And my doctor's like, "Can I have my knife back?" And I'm just laying there like, "Can you have your what back?" Because I was conscious, but I wasn't, as my mom put it, I didn't care. I knew what was happening, but I didn't care. So I had like a sheet over my face. I was laying down. My arm was out, and I had like a sheet over my face, and the anesthesiologist was standing right here, and he was, keeping an eye on me. At some point, I don't know when it was, according to my mom, I was in there for about 40 minutes. I don't remember that. At some point, they started asking each other trivia questions. You know, it's 6 o'clock. I guess they were tired from doing surgeries all day. But they started asking each other trivia questions, and they were getting to a couple questions that nobody could answer. And I'm laying there like, I know the answer. Is anyone going to answer this? No one's going to answer. So I answered it. The anesthesiologist was giving them my answers because obviously they couldn't hear me through the mask and the partition and everything. It was so funny. So I got out of surgery. I was fine. I felt fine according to Mom. I was slurring my words a little bit, but I'll put in a picture here. That is what my hand looked like after surgery, just nice and snugly wrapped, and it was like that for 2 weeks. Yes, I had my hand wrapped for 2 weeks. It didn't stay wrapped the whole time for those 2 weeks, because on New Year's Day, my grandmother noticed I was playing with my bandages a lot more than I was the day before, because we go over for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. My grandmother noticed I was playing with the bandages a lot more than I was before, and that's because it was really, really itchy, and it was bothering me. And as it turned out, the bandages were cutting off my circulation, because they were too tight. So I had to loosen them, and then that night when I showered, I completely removed them and changed the gauze. Even though I wasn't supposed to, my doctor apparently had given specific orders for me not to touch them, but I'm sorry, I won't go into details, but the OCD part of me would not let me go 2 weeks without changing the gauze, so I did that every time I showered until I got the stitches removed. This is what my hand looked like the day I got the stitches removed. It wasn't as healed, it wasn't as dry scabbed over as they wanted it when they were removing the stitches, but they said, you know, we can leave them in for another week, to which point I whimpered because I am not meant to be left-handed. I am right-handed for a reason. So they're like, or we can take out the stitches and we can give you some strip bandages. And I was like, that sounds wonderful. I like that plan. So that's what they did. I had strip bandages on for about 3 days after that, which was great, which was fine with me. I could use my hand again. I was so happy I could use my hand again. And after that, it was painful. The first couple of nights was painful after the surgery. I had to take an oxy each night because it was that bad. But after that, I was able to take Advil and, you know, regular over-the-counter pain meds to help, and it wasn't bad after that. But since getting the stitches out, I do have pain. In unusual places. I have it up here, and I have it over here, and I'm not sure why, but it's only been about a month since the surgery, so my mom is giving me until I get back from Virginia next month to see how it goes, and if it doesn't get better, then I will go back to my surgeon and have him take a look at it and see what he can think of is wrong. Thing to remember is I overproduce scar tissue, so that might be the problem, because when I bend it like this, it feels like there's like something in there, so it might be, you know, scar tissue. So yeah, after 2 weeks, well no, today's the 27th, so after almost exactly a month, this is what my hand looks like. It looks redder on camera than it actually is. It is actually healed quite nicely. It is higher up than I thought. The markings he put on my hand were originally from here to here, so I don't know why it's so high up, but I do massage it every day to work on the scarring and, you know, any scar tissue underneath it. My palm is, you can't really tell, I don't think, but my palm is starting to peel from 2 weeks inside bandages. It is not happy about those 2 weeks inside bandages, but it'll deal with it because it has no choice in the matter. So, yeah, for now, that is all I've got. In my opinion, the surgery was definitely worth it. I can write again, I can type again without pain, which is a glorious thing. I just wish this secondary pain that has appeared would solve itself, but we'll see in a few weeks. For now, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you guys have had carpal tunnel surgery and if you have any experience with secondary after pain in the two areas I mentioned up here in the pad of the thumb and down over here. Let me know if it's usual. Comment down below if you guys have had any surgery and what your experiences were. This is actually my 4th one. So I'm a bit of an well, not a bit of an expert, but I'm a bit of a veteran now when it comes to surgeries. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Remember, all my social media will be linked down below, and I will see you guys in next week's video. Bye!